Christianity is a white man's religion. Christianity is a colonialist, Eurocentric project that is being imposed on Africans. Accepting Christ or Christianity is you betraying your Africanness. The central underlying theme behind these claims is what we are going to be deconstructing today. And we are going to be deconstructing them or it in two broad categories. The first is the historical category, and the second is the logical category. So let's take a look at the history. The claim that Christianity is a white man's religion or is an Eurocentric religion is very, very historically inaccurate. The first thing to note, and this is so historically obvious that it's a pet peeve of mine to keep hearing people repeat it. The first thing is that Christianity did not originate from Europe. Christianity originated from Southwestern Asia in Jerusalem. The second thing is that Christianity got to places in Africa, like Alexandria, before it got to places in Europe, like Great Britain. Christianity got to Africa before it got to Europe. The third thing is that there are three highly influential Christian theologians of all time, and two of them were Africans. So they are Athanasius, Augustine, and then Thomas Aquinas. Athanasius was African from Alexandria, Egypt. Augustine was African from Numidia, present-day Algeria. Thomas Aquinas was Italian. So you see that out of the three most influential Christian theologians of all time, two of them were African. Now let's look at Augustine and what he did. Before Augustine, let's look at Athanasius. So Athanasius is extremely influential in Christian history. In the 4th century, there was a heretic named Arius who rose up and started claiming that Jesus Christ is not God in the same divine sense as the Father, and that he has a certain level of ontological subordination. Ontological just means he was a step below the Father in terms of being. And he was basically claiming that Jesus Christ was a created entity, and this was unorthodox. Athanasius was the guy who stood up, defended the deity of Jesus Christ, and ensured the continuity of the tradition of Jesus' deity from the time of the apostles till date. That was how influential he was, and he was African. Augustine is probably the most influential Christian writer of all time. It's arguable, but he probably is. He wrote a lot of things critiquing a heretic known as Pelagius, who was claiming that human beings by their own works could achieve salvation. He wrote a lot about Christian philosophy, Christian theology, very influential. He greatly influenced the Protestant Reformation, which began in Germany 1,100 years, hundreds of years later. This guy was African. He wasn't European. He wasn't Asian. So right there, you see that 2 out of the 3 most influential Christian theologians of all time were Africans, and Africa has contributed much to the development of Christian history. The third thing is that Christianity, we have Christian churches that have existed for about almost 2,000 years in Ethiopia. We have Christian churches that preceded the coming of Europeans into sub-Saharan Africa, etc. So right there, you notice that Christianity is not alien to Africa, or Christianity is not something that was introduced by some white missionaries in the 19th or 18th century. There are churches in Ethiopia today that date back to the 4th century, really long time ago, before the Christian missionaries from Europe started trooping in, post-Reformation era, 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, 19th century, etc. What that shows is that Christianity has an extensive history in Africa, in North Africa, prior to the colonialist period of Europe. And therefore, that cannot be used as a justification to somewhat discount Christianity. But having looked at the historical case or the historical data around Christianity's presence in Africa, let's move to the more central problem, which is the logical problem. The logical issue here is this. The color of anyone's skin or what their ancestors have done in history have no role to play in whether a particular claim that is being made is true or false. In the 1950s, Francis Crick discovered that a British biologist, Francis Crick, discovered the structure of DNA. The fact that Francis Crick discovered that while Britain was trying to fight the independence of some African countries does not invalidate the claim. So there are three major ways or three basic ways to discount a claim. One is to show that it's a logical contradiction. So if someone says that I've seen a round circle, that's a logical contradiction because a circle by its very definition is round. A square by its very definition has four straight sides. Those two cannot coexist in the same shape. The second way to discount a claim is to show that there isn't enough evidence for the claim. So if I walk into a room and I'm told that someone is baking cake and like cake is supposed to like give off a certain fragrance and I'm not smelling anything, I walk into the room, get closer, open the oven and there's nothing inside. There isn't enough evidence to support that. And so I can discount it. It's legitimate to discount it. The third way to discount a claim is to provide positive rebuttal or refutation to the claim. So demonstrate that the claim is false. Trying to appeal to the color of anyone's skin doesn't in any way falsify a claim. You can't falsify a claim on the basis of the color of someone's skin, on the basis of the social impact that the claim would have. Genghis Khan is said to have about one descendant out of every 200 people alive today. I'm not very sure of the numbers, but Genghis Khan was a brutal warlord. If you meet any of his descendants today and they are really nice people, it in no way invalidates the claim that Genghis Khan was a brutal warlord. And so you can't appeal to things that Christians have supposedly done to discount the claim that Jesus Christ died and rose from the dead. Paul says that's the foundation for our faith. You can't rely on the fact that the color of someone's skin is different from yours to discount the claims of Christianity or the central claims of Christianity as far as they are investigable claims, claiming that Jesus Christ died and rose from the dead, something you can investigate historically. What you have to do is to use the right methodology. Is there evidence that Jesus Christ died and rose from the dead? Does the historical data support it? These are the ways to verify the Christian faith. Appealing to the color of anyone's skin is just fallacious. It's a genetic fallacy. Saying things like, if you were born somewhere in the Middle East, you wouldn't be Christian, is also fallacious. Because if I was born 2,000 years ago, I probably wouldn't, no, not 2,000 years, 4,000 years ago, I probably wouldn't believe the earth is round. The fact that I believe the earth is round today, because I was born in the 21st century, doesn't falsify the claim. So when we look at all of these, you notice that the appeal to the supposed foreign nature of Christianity to the African continent just falls flat. Truth claims are independent of social context, especially when we are talking about a true claim like Jesus died and rose from the dead. They are independent of those things. If you want to know whether it's true or not, you have to examine it on its own basis and discount it on that. Appealing to the color of someone's skin, the wrong things that their civilization has done in the past, in no way falsifies this. And so this is one of the weakest objections to Christianity, and this has been the deconstruction. I'm Kwesi Kunedu. Thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe, and I'd appreciate it.